Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another Dead Walking Dead child character video. This one will be on Penny Blake, daughter of the governor, aka Philip Blake. Penny is of course female. She is played by Kylie Shemansky. She is 11 to 12 and first appeared in Walk With Me as a photograph. Before the outbreak, Penny was born to her mother, Mrs. Blake, we don't know her actual first name, and of course her father, Philip Blake. She was an only child and likely grew up somewhere in Georgia and of course attended elementary school. At one point she went to the park and enjoyed a day at the swings, a picture of it being taken. Cool. She also had an uncle, Philip's brother, who may or may not have been called Brian. I mean, I like to think it is, but whatever. 18 months before the outbreak though, Penny lost her mother to a car accident, leaving just her and her father. When the outbreak began, the governor and Penny arrived at Woodbury and barricaded themselves in an apartment building. They met several people here, including Martinez and Milton. The governor began to build the town, barricading it, but lost many people along the way. Here are all the names. Again, Brian could be the governor's brother. There's no evidence, but obviously in the novels the governor's called Brian, but he takes his brother Philip's name after Philip's death, so he could be his brother. It's confusing, but that's all I'm saying. It's a possibility, but there's no confirmation. Eventually, though, sadly, Penny was killed. Now, it's never stated exactly how Penny died. Maybe she was just bitten by walkers, but seeing as the governor tells Milton if he had been more murderous early on into the outbreak, then Penny would still be alive, this suggests Penny was likely killed by another group of survivors, possibly similar to how she dies in the novels. Either way, Penny died, but rather than putting her down, the governor got her a straitjacket. He chained her up in his apartment, he built a little cage for her, and he began to feed her, treating her like his little girl still, and hoping that one day Milton would discover some sort of cure. Her death, of course, broke the governor, but he still held on to what was left of her, visiting her regularly, feeding her regularly, and trying to find something within her that resembles his daughter. In Season 3, Walker Penny sits and eats flesh that her father has brought her as the governor brushes her hair with some calming music in the background. As he does though, he rips a part of her skull off, causing the walker to get aggressive. She goes to try to bite her father's arm, but he restrains her using the straitjacket that she's dressed in. He then tells her it's nap time and puts the bag over her head, standing her on her feet, and he embraces her, shakes her, and tells her to calm down, announcing that he still loves her, kissing her forehead. The Penny thing calms down with this. After the governor is finished staring out the window at Michonne, she is then presumably put back away in the cage. Days later, the governor awaits with some fresh food for Penny. He opens the cage door and plays some music. He calls out, "Penny, it's Daddy," and Penny rushes out to her father, but she's stopped by the chain. She rattles to get to him, to bite him, to eat him, but he shushes her softly and takes off the hood. He shushes her, stroking her hair as she tries to go for him, and he loosens the straitjacket and softly begins to sing to her. Penny, she keeps growling a little bit, snapping her teeth, but she begins to calm down. She's looking at something, but the thing that she's looking at that is calming her isn't her father, it's the bowl of fresh food that he has brought her. He demands that she looks at him, but she doesn't. He demands it again, shouting, but she still is too focused on the food. He kicks the boombox over, wraps her up in the straitjacket. Annoyed, he puts the hood back on her head and pushes her back into the cage. Later that night, Penny is making a ruckus in her room, causing Michonne to burst into the secret office. She hears Penny growling in her cage and opens it up, letting her free. Penny emerges. Michonne, thinking that she's an alive girl, that the governor's been torturing or something, so of course Michonne tells her that she isn't going to hurt her, and she takes the chain off Penny and slowly takes the hood off her to reveal that Penny's a walker. Ah! Michonne grabs her sword, spins her around, ready to kill her when the governor calls out, "No! Don't hurt her!" Penny growls out as the governor begs for his daughter's life, or his walker's daughter's life. Michonne, though, doesn't comply with his request, and after some back and forth, stabs Penny through the back of the head with her katana, putting Penny down for good. After the governor's fight with Michonne, he cradles Penny's body and weeps. It's assumed he either buried or burnt her after. And in Season 4, the same photo that was seen in Walk With Me is seen once again when the governor is obviously in the apartment block with Lily and Tara, and we of course see Penny for the last time in this photo. R.I.P. Penny Blake. So, there's Penny Blake. She may just be a zombie in the show, but really, she explains why the governor is who he is. She was his world, and once she was gone, he broke, and after Michonne basically killed her again, the governor truly broke some more. Honestly, I've just been rereading the novels, and Penny is a much bigger character, especially in the first book. Obviously, she's a zombie in the next ones to come, but there's like lots of scenes with the governor and Penny, and a lot of them are weird and freaky and disgusting and kind of disturbing. But to be fair, I prefer how the show did it. I just prefer it being the governor's actual daughter and not his niece. And I know the governor in the comics deludes himself into believing that he is his brother, but still, I'm not a fan. It's just so convoluted in the novels, and I don't know why people say that the governor is better in the comics and novels. I still don't get it. It's just it's so convoluted and so weird. The show did it better in my view, even though there's less of Penny. Anyway, tell me your thoughts on Penny, and stay tuned for the next Dead Walking Dead child character video. Goodbye.